The question I want to explore today is, when countries get nervous, who are they going to call? Because countries around the world are starting to ask different questions. Not just who can help keep their lights on this month, but who can they trust to help keep them on for the next 40 years? And the more informed people are about what's happening in places like the Strait of Hormuz and the consequences of today's conflicts, the more they're paying attention to that future question. Because the crisis may pass, but the trust question doesn't. Let's get into it. What does trust have to do with global energy? The Strait of Hormuz is not just a shipping lane, it's a trust lane. And right now, that trust lane is under serious strain. Think about a group of friends you've had since high school. Weddings, kids, trips. You've had hard seasons, you've had good seasons, a few bumps, but mostly good, which is why you're still close long into adulthood. Then one person becomes the drama center. Not once, like a real pattern. And suddenly every get-together feels tense. And people start checking who's coming before they say yes. Plans get smaller, get together less times. You still care. You still hope the whole group heals, but you start protecting your peace. Because trust can break in one ugly moment, but it takes years to rebuild. And that's what's happened in global energy markets this spring. And I want to tell you why it matters for Canada. So first, let's go through a few things. What even is this Strait of Hormuz? Okay, so it's a waterway between Iran to the north and the Arabian Peninsula. And at its narrowest point, it's about 33 kilometers wide. Now, if you're like me, you don't really think about how far that is, but if you've ever taken that roughly 2-hour ferry trip from Vancouver across to Vancouver Island in Canada, that's roughly the same width as the Strait of Hormuz. Now imagine through that space, through that gap moves 20 million barrels of oil every single day. And you're like, is that a lot? Well, yeah, it sure is. It's roughly 1/5 of what the world consumes. And that's not all. It's also 20%, again, a fifth of global LNG, liquefied natural gas. So the natural gas part, if you're not sure the difference between those two, check out our Lego episode. And that moves through there too. Almost all that comes from Qatar. Never mind, you got to add in fertilizer that we need for food, helium we need for defense and all of our electronics, the sulfur that we use that nobody knows about to make pretty much everything that's being manufactured. And sadly, if you're me, pistachios. Oh my God, 1/5 of the world's pistachios. At any rate, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, the UAE, United Arab Emirates, every one of them depends on Hormuz, that place, to get their energy to market to the world. And you guys, there really is no plan B at that scale, at that amount. Yeah, there's a few bypass pipelines that exist, but they can only handle a fraction of what normally moves through the strait. And as for LNG, there's not pipelines at all, very few alternatives. So when conflict escalates in that region, global markets are reacting immediately, and they're volatile. So this past spring, most of us know that the tensions between Iran, Israel, the United States pushed the entire region into this massive conflict we're in the middle of. At various points, commercial shipping through Hormuz, that strait, has either slowed dramatically or basically just halted. Tankers are just sitting, paused, or rerouting, going other places. Insurance has surged, making it even more expensive to ship even if you wanted to. And some companies have just been nope, we're out. They have just stopped altogether. The International Energy Agency, often called the IEA, so the kind of governing body, they're like, oh my gosh, you guys, this has the potential to become one of the most serious oil supply disruptions in modern history. You're feeling it already. Oil prices have spiked sharply. That impacts things like gas at home. LNG prices have jumped in Asia. For them, it's worse because that's causing immediately rolling blackouts, shutdowns, all kinds of things that they have to manage. So governments and industries, they're like, oh my gosh, what's our contingency plan? In case this gets worse, or how long will it drag on? What do we do for our security? These are big questions. So the traffic through the strait has occasionally in the past couple of weeks partially resumed. Maybe it'll come back, we don't know. But the bigger issue, regardless of when Hormuz opens, has not disappeared. Because this is not just about a few disrupted weeks. This is now about trust. So let's go back to the friend group from high school. the ones that's starting to have some drama. Because here's the part that doesn't make the headlines. The immediate problem, yes, prices spiking, tankers rerouting, ships not moving. That's the visible part. That's what the news will tell you. Ships moving, yes, no, yes, no. The bigger problem is what happens after. When it does open, China imports 3/4 of its crude oil, means they don't have it. Japan, South Korea, way more dependent, like 90% is imported. These countries are wealthy, so they have strategic reserves, meaning a backup, but those reserves are designed to smooth a shock like this, not replace long-term supply. So they're watching tankers hesitate outside of one of the most important shipping lanes on Earth. They watch the possibility of that regional conflict that could disrupt the global energy system and what's going on at home. And they know that that geography isn't going to change. That 33 kilometers ain't moving. So now they're asking a different question. It's not just, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Where do we buy energy this month to keep the lights on? The bigger question strategically is like, who can we trust to give us the energy we need for the next 40 years? The Asia Pacific Foundation of Canada put it clearly. They said that the decisions made in the next few years, specifically here in Canada, but also globally, could shape global energy trade pattern for decades. We're talking into the 2070s and beyond. So smart countries are thinking about this, and they will remember this pain. Japan remembers. India remembers. South Korea remembers. Australia remembers. Every buyer who watched that strait come under pressure is going to remember that there is risk there, that there is drama, that they have to think about it differently to protect their peace and to think about their energy as they go forward. So this is Canada's opening, because in this group, we are not the drama friend. We are not threatening choke points. We are not making buyers wonder if the next crisis is going to cut them off, because our geography is problem-free. The Trans Mountain expansion that was completed last year, it's now moving 890,000 barrels a day to Tidewater off our Pacific coast. LNG Canada, first export terminal we have for LNG in Canada. It opened in Kitimat also in 2025. It's shipping directly to Northeast Asia, and it doesn't touch a single Middle East choke point. People like this. So suddenly, Canada looks very different in a world thinking about reliable. We are looking pretty good. Asian and European buyers are increasingly looking to diversify their supply relationships. So they're talking to Ottawa, and Ottawa's talking back. It has openly talked about reducing our over-reliance on the US market, but also increasing our role in global energy trade. You've heard him say it, global energy superpower. So 2 strategic problems with 1 solution, and that is Canada positioned to be a part of it. But here's the hard truth. Reliability that we claim we have, oh Canada, we're good, trust us. It's only valuable if you actually deliver. A phase 2 expansion of LNG Canada could significantly increase our export capacity there. And decisions expected over the next year or 2 can determine whether Canada fully captures this opportunity or if we just watch again while others move faster. So if Canada can't build the pipelines, the ports, the terminals, and the infrastructure to move what the world needs, yeah, we've got it. But if we don't find a way to move it, we don't take advantage of this moment. We miss it again, like we did quite recently in the post-Ukraine invasion. And so instead of us, it's other countries signing the contracts. It's other countries building the leverage and the power and the influence. It's other countries that will be the supplier that nervous buyers look to when the world felt most uncertain. And that's who's giving the energy right now, because while we want to help, we did not contribute to these strategic petroleum reserves when people are needing it. So Canada, we might just sit here again with the resources, the reputation, the rule of law, the workforce, the allies, everything on paper, but still somewhere we are going to be watching from the shore while others shape the future and while others make the decisions that we are going to have to live with because we failed to act. So the smart enough take is this. Hormuz, when you hear it, this is not just a crisis story. It's not just an energy story. It's not just a gas at the pump story. This is a trust story. In a world where one of the most important energy corridors on Earth suddenly feels very uncertain and could stay that way for a while. Buyers are not just looking for supply. They're looking for the stable friend group. Canada is that stable friend, or we can be. We just have to show up. Question I'm asking, are we smart enough to do that? I'm Lynn Exner, and this is Smart Enough.